Do you remember the movie Avatar? Blue beings, towering trees, complete harmony with the world.
What if that wasn't just the director's imagination?
What if somewhere out there exists a planet young, alive, where intelligent beings have never waged wars and have no need for sleep or struggle to survive? One of our listeners submitted a story describing a world inhabited by beings whose connection with their environment goes far beyond our understanding. But discovering such a world, the way it was shown in the film, would be impossible. In this science fiction podcast, we try to understand why such worlds remain hidden, how they differ from our own, and what would happen if humanity were ever to encounter them.
We have a deep dive today that really blurs the line between blockbuster imagination and, well, maybe something more.
It definitely does. We're exploring source material that suggests the core ideas in a very famous sci-fi film, the one with the big blue planet, might not just be fiction.
Exactly. Not just fiction, but echoes of a real existing civilization.
That's the premise. The information we've received is presented as this strong, direct, energetic stream. It's basically a complete blueprint of a planet and the beings who live there.
And our mission here is to treat this flow of information like a detailed survey, a geological, biological, and sociological survey of an alleged real world.
Right. We're here to unpack the details.
We're talking about a massive blue planet. It's very strange physics, the 3-meter-tall beings that call it home. And get this, a huge artificial structure protecting the whole thing.
And we should jump right into that central contradiction, the physics of it.
Let's do it. The sources describe this large, young, blue globe, and it's estimated to be up to 12 times the size of Earth.
12 times, which, that's our immediate problem. Based on any physics we understand, a world that massive should have a gravitational pull that would just crush you.
It'd be impossible. Yet, the sources are clear. Gravity is significantly lighter there. It creates an environment that's almost weightless for the inhabitants.
So, okay, let's unpack that right away, because the source material is forcing a complete rethink of how planets can even be structured.
If it's that big, but the gravity is light, then the only variable left is density, right? What does the information say about what this world is actually made of?
It says the world is composed of what the intelligence calls dense but subtle ether. So it is physical matter, but it exists at a much, much higher vibrational state than what we experience here on Earth.
So imagine matter that's just not as compressed, it's less dense.
Exactly. Think of a massive ball of foam versus a tiny little steel bearing. The foam ball is way bigger, but the steel bearing is heavier.
So that explains the physics. But what does that mean for the people, for the beings who actually live there?
It changes everything about them, about how they see the world. They're described as being 9 to 10 feet tall, so about 3 meters, with this light sky blue skin.
And they look sort of human, but not quite.
Right. They have cat-like features, feline faces, tails, and here's a weirdly specific detail. Only 3 fingers and 3 toes on each limb.
Okay, but if their reality is less dense, our way of seeing, our vision, it wouldn't work there, would it?
It wouldn't. The blueprint says an ordinary human observer would probably just see a shimmering light, not solid objects.
Just a shimmer.
To really see their world, you need a high level of sensory sensitivity, and you have to view it with unfocused, multi-directional vision. You can't just center on a single point.
Which is fascinating because it means their whole way of perceiving reality is adapted to this light-based, shimmering world, multi-directional vision. It's like they're taking in the whole energy field at once, not just one object.
Exactly. And their world is always bright.
Always bright. The sources are very clear on that. There's no night. The light is constant, and it's all in these pastel tones, golds, pinks, light greens.
It sounds like living inside a permanent, beautiful dawn or dusk.
Yeah.
A world of constant light.
Which, that brings up a really crucial question. If they're 3 meters tall and their world has no night, how do they rest? How do they sustain themselves?
Yeah, that's the next logical step. Their energy needs must be just as unique as their physical reality.
So if they don't sleep in a traditional sense and there's no darkness, what do? What do they eat?
Well, this is where their biology connects directly with the planet's infrastructure. The world is covered in this super high grass and these enormous trees, some of them reaching 25 to 30 meters tall.
Everything glows.
Everything sparkles and glows, yeah. And the trees are basically their power grid.
So they don't sleep, not in the way we think of it. They don't just go unconscious.
No. Instead, they sit and they energetically recharge from these massive trees. The trees are the vital link in their energy cycle.
How does that work? The trees themselves, where do they get the energy?
They draw it straight from the planet's core. Pure, raw energy pulled up through the roots and into the crown, and then it's transferred to the beings.
It's a completely self-sustaining planetary power system. No need for fuel or combustion or anything external.
And you can see how that's influenced their physiology. The blueprint specifically notes that these beings have mainly developed their upper energy center.
To the solar plexus, heart, throat, brow, and crown.
Right. And if you think about it, that makes perfect sense. Developing those centers helps with things like nonverbal communication, empathy, higher consciousness, all the things you'd need for this kind of efficient energetic transfer.
They don't need to focus on the lower energy centers, the ones associated with, like survival or aggression.
Because their basic needs are already met by the planet itself. There's no struggle for survival.
And the animals, the fauna, reflect that too, right? This complete lack of aggression.
Oh, absolutely. The sources describe a tiger-like animal. It's orange with white stripes, but it's completely benevolent. It's not aggressive at all.
And it has 2 heads.
It has 2 heads, both with pleasant faces and 2 spiraled tails.
A friendly 2-headed tiger. And I'm guessing it doesn't hunt.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
It feeds on the energy of specific plants and bushes, no hunting needed. Everything just exists in this state of mutual flow.
Wait, I have to stop you there. I mean, how is that possible? No aggression in an entire ecosystem. On Earth, even herbivores have defense mechanisms. The primal need for protection is just gone.
Well, the sources imply that aggression really comes from lack or fear, lack of food, fear of predators.
Scarcity.
Exactly, scarcity. But since their world is constantly providing this core energy to everyone and everything, the need for conflict or competition, it just never evolved. It never had a reason to exist.
That's fascinating. It suggests scarcity isn't just a social problem, it's a biological one. It's the root of conflict itself. Okay, so back to the scale of things. The birds are just as huge.
Immense. The sources talk about 2 types. There's a colorful one, red, white, and green, with a 7-meter wingspan per wing.
Per wing. So that's 14 meters across.
Yeah.
But you can't ride that one.
No, its body is apparently too dense for the low-gravity environment to allow for a rider.
Okay, to give you some perspective, a small jet, like a Cessna Citation, has a wingspan of about 14 to 16 meters. So that's the small bird.
And the rideable birds are even
bigger.
Significantly. The sources describe them having an incredible 20-meter wingspan, again, per wing. So that's a 40-meter total wingspan.
40 meters, that's the wingspan of a Boeing 737. That is an enormous creature.
And they have this huge peacock-like tail they use for balance, a flat head with 4 eyes, and they feed on large seeds they find inside mountain plants.
So this whole ecosystem, from the 10-foot-tall people to the giant trees and the 737-sized birds, it's all one integrated system of respectful, energetic exchange.
They live in complete harmony with nature. They flow into it, they study it, they communicate with the trees and the animals. It's a perfect utopian ecology.
So if that's the ecology, how does that play out in their society, their communication of family structures? Is it as unified as their biology seems to be?
It's even more unified. They live in these massive global clans or communities. Because there's no scarcity and no aggression, concepts like individual conflict or divorce or even just disagreements, they just don't exist.
They just don't have a frame of reference for it.
And then they embody a total state of peace and tranquility.
And with that perfect climate, they don't need houses. They can just live wherever they want.
Exactly. And their communication is both verbal and mental or energetic, and that really helps with their form of education.
Right, because knowledge isn't taught. It's transferred.
It's transferred directly via thought and pure energy. So you don't have that long, drawn-out process of raising a child from zero, teaching them every little thing.
They're essentially born into the collective knowledge base of the entire clan.
They get it all immediately, and reproduction follows that same energetic pattern. They have male and female forms, but conception is described as being primarily energetic.
An energetic match, not just a physical one.
A child is only born when the male and female energies are perfectly aligned, almost identical. and they stay together based on this deep, lasting, energetic match. It creates these completely stable family units that feed into the whole global clan.
It's the ultimate expression of that unity. Everything is defined by their energy needs and this constant abundance, not by scarcity and competition.
That's it.
Okay, so let's shift to the planet's external structure. Because the sources describe this absolutely staggering piece of architecture, a massive artificial shield designed to protect this young world. And it carries, I think, the most profound lesson for our own planet.
This is probably the most significant detail in the whole blueprint. The entire planet is covered by a dense blue protective cupola, like a dome.
So when they look up at the sky,
All they see is blue. They can't see the stars or other planets. It's a total shield.
the deliberate defense mechanism. So
Yeah.
the planet is really a double sphere. You have the physical core and then this exterior protective shell. What was its purpose?
The sources say it was built when the planet was young to prevent any intrusion. It keeps out potentially aggressive civilizations, but more importantly, it stops the planet from gathering negative energy.
It protects it from undesirable guests.
Undesirable guests, yes. Which sounds like entities who might try to drain its pure core-fed energy.
So it's like a perfect quarantine bubble. It's designed to let a world mature in complete safety, like shielding a child from all the bad things in the universe so it can develop properly.
That is the exact analogy the sources use. They are still in a state of pure, positive development, shielded from any influences that could introduce conflict.
But here's where it gets really personal for us, for Earth. The sources claim that Earth originally had the exact same kind of protective shield when it was young.
Yes. Our planet was also initially protected by this massive synthetic shield. But over a very long time, as Earth started to accumulate negative energy, conflict, strife, aggression, the shield began to react to that.
It couldn't handle the negativity, so what happened to our shield?
It gradually dissolved, it just dissipated. The negative energy being generated on the planet was incompatible with the positive energy structure of the shield, and it just broke it down.
And once it was gone,
Once it dissolved, it allowed more complex, more challenging, and sometimes more aggressive energies and external influences to access our world.
so the implication is that planetary evolution might involve this transition. You go from a protected, pure state, like this blue world, to an open state that's exposed to all these complex energies, the kind that lead to growth and struggle and conflict, but maybe also strength in the long run.
In a sense, Earth's shield was sacrificed by the collective energy of its own inhabitants. We chose, consciously or not, to move from shielded purity to open complexity. And this young blue world is still thriving in that state we may have left behind.
Wow. Okay. We've covered a lot of ground. A massive world that defies gravity, a civilization of 10-foot-tall blue beings who recharge from trees, and a peaceful society where even the two-headed tigers are friendly.
The core insight here is that this blueprint offers these alternative models. A different model for physical reality, for planetary defense, that idea of a dissolving dome, and for communal living based on energy and harmony, not competition.
And at the end of the day, this deep dive wasn't just about a cool, fantastical setting. It was about the structure of need itself. The sources say the people on this planet don't travel. They don't explore space.
We have no reason to. Their planet is vast and it contains everything they need. They are perfectly self-sufficient.
Zero desire for space exploration.
None whatsoever.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought for you. If this information is derived from some kind of universal truth, what does it suggest about humanity's relentless drive to explore the stars? Is our constant push to colonize and travel outwards really driven by pure, boundless curiosity? Or is it maybe a subconscious search, a consequence of lacking something essential, that complete, integrated, energetic harmony that this protected blue planet already possesses? Something for you to mull over until our next deep dive.